A Battle Bill here with another video. In today's video, we've got some early community day content. Shout out to our friend across the world, Blast Some Mike, with some unique open Great League battles featuring the most recent introduction into the Pokemon Go game, that being Clodsire. Yes, today at 2 to 5 local time in your area, there's a community day going on for Johto Wooper and Paldean Wooper. Johto Wooper evolving into Quagsire, receiving the Water Charge move of Aqua Tail, and Paldean Wooper evolving into Clodsire, newest Pokemon in the game, Poison Ground type, getting access to the Community Day move of Mega Horn, Bug type. Now, Mega Horn is not going to be the most optimal charge move to be running in some open Great League battles, so what you're gonna want to do is stick with its regular move set. Clodsire is going to be a mainstay in some open Great League battles, so I highly recommend you get on getting those PvP IVs and hope and pray to God there's no weather boost in your area. Clodsire has access to the fast move of Poison Sting. That's going to be the recommended one, and the charge moves of Earthquake and Sludge Bomb. Now, unfortunately, Clodsire was going to be even better than it currently is, and it's still going to be really good and at the top of the meta thanks to its insane stat product and bulk. But before that, it could have dethroned Medicham as the Great League King. It was going to potentially receive access to Poison Jab and Surf as fast moves and charge moves respectively, but unfortunately got removed last minute. But don't you fret, this Pokemon will still be a threat. Bars. Now, we've got these battles, we've got a collection of them. We're going to get to see just how well Paldean Wooper's evolution Clodsire can perform in some open Great League battles. So if you're excited for this early content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's start commentating these battles. Right now, we got a CMP tie between Defense Deoxys going up against his Pelipper, chucking the Hurricane as what seems to be a last-ditch effort. The Deoxys going for the Psycho Boost, going to debuff itself, take out the Deoxys. There's an Alolan Sandslash in the back, going to get off a charge move. Will the Deoxys be able to counter down before the Alolan Sandslash potentially gets to another charge move? And it looks like the Deoxys is going to get there just in time to its second Psycho Boost here that will do the remaining damage of its health. I was too busy doing the intro to get to see Clodsire perform in that battle whatsoever, so I'm excited to hopefully get to see it in this next one. Now, we had an Alolan Ninetales on Defense Deoxys lead here. The opponent save swaps into Medicham. Mike decides to stay in, throw the Thunderbolt. Could have potentially also went to Gligar or Clodsire. Might want to swap sooner or later because that Ice type is still in the back and his backline is quite weak to it. He is still staying in with Defense Deoxys here, letting another charge move come through. DD is thick and resists, so we'll eat these quite comfortably. Throwing another Thunderbolt here. This will not take out the Medicham's remaining health, but will get it quite low. But the opponent decides to shield. He's now going for the Psycho Boost. This should take out the remaining health or potentially get the last shield. It ends up taking out the Medicham, and the Alolan Ninetales comes back in. Now, for I guess Mike's advantage here, the Alolan Ninetales is running Charm and not Powder Snow, so that makes a huge difference. And now we're gonna get to see the Clodsire go to town. They bring in Carbink. We had the shortest meta reigned by Carbink ever seen. Now we've got Carbink's top lefting in matches because they have no play, just because that is how good Clodsire is still going to be. Literally core breaking. Now I understand why Mike made the play he did. That Alolan Ninetales was not running Powder Snow. Would have been a whole different story if that was the case. And Clod ends up core breaking and winning us that match. Getting into the next one, we got Defense Deoxys going up against Tapu Fini. Gonna chuck a Psycho Boost here after getting the opponent's first shield. Will he let this charge move go through? He will. Now he has a backline of 2 ground types, so is still gonna want to watch out for that super effective water damage, but Clodsire could still come in quite comfortably and Poison Sting farm this Tapu Fini all the way down. Are we gonna get to see it go to a Pound Town like it did in the last match? Unfortunately, Tapu Fini gets off another Surf, but Clodsire handling that super effective damage very well because of its ridiculous stat product and bulk. They come in with a Registeel, and these cores of Tapu Fini and Registeel are gonna end up raining no more because they end up eating an Earthquake, doing a majority of that Registeel's health. They then try to save safely go into their Trevenant, and that has to eat a Sludge Bomb, and Gligar is just going to put in the remaining work to win this match. This is Gligar meta. Registeel Trevenant should not be around. It's like Clodsire is doing Season 14 battles right now, because who the hell is still running Registeel or Trevenant in these Open Great League battles? Apparently this trainer does not want to give up on their old team. Either way, Mike gets off the dig. The opponent knows that this match is over. They decide not to use their final shield. Let's get into the next match. We got a positive lead here with Defenseoxys up against the Medicham. Let's see how both opponents decide to try and play this out. Mike is going for a Thunderbolt here. This will do a solid chunk of the Medicham's health, basically putting it at half health. The opponent then safe swaps into Froslass, and this is not super ideal for the back line. Mike is going for the Psycho Boost. Let's see how he's going to decide to try and play out of this. He does a decent amount of chip damage and then goes into his Gligar, which is still going to eat double super effective damage from all the ice damage being thrown at it, but is better off going into the Gligar here because Clodsire will take too long to get to charge moves, and at least Gligar will be able to throw Aerial Aces, as difficult as this has been because of all the damage the Gligar is taking. Mike decides not to shield that up, to come into his Clodsire, wants to Poison Sting down the Froslass all the way. Will he be able to pull it off after shielding that first Avalanche? The opponent pivots, recognizing they have energy and they have Mike up against the wall. Clodsire ends up eating the Psychic there, and as you can see, as much as that does a good chunk of health, Clodsire still tanking that super effective damage very well. Now matching the Medicham with his Defenseoxys, going for a Thunderbolt. This will do a majority of the remaining health or potentially grab a shield. It did not grab the last shield. Mike gets the counter down. Will that Froslass come back in, or what is the opponent's final mon? Ends up being Psycho Boost, and this is where Clodsire wishes it had Surf, where it could chuck some super effective damage at this Charizard, but instead has to go for more expensive neutral damage in the form of Sludge Bomb. So again, we're seeing that nerf come into play here. Might not have won him the match just because that Charizard was loaded up and the opponent had a shield, but still, that is a matchup that Clodsire would play better given different circumstances and the moveset. Getting into the next match, we've got Defenseoxys up against a Charge Bug lead. Not a great lead because, you know, Psychic against Bug is not a great thing. So Mike Psycho Boosts and dips, lures out the Pelipper, which is going to be huge because he's running that double ground backline. Going to chuck the Aerial Ace here, do about 45% of the Pelipper's remaining health. The opponent then CMP ties the Gligar on the next charge move. This should just be a Weather Ball. It is. The Gligar holds on in the red, getting off another Aerial Ace. Will this get a shield? Will this do a good chunk of the remaining health? It ends up getting the shield. The opponent is going for the wing attack, farm down, and Mike's Gligar gets to the Aerial Ace just in time, decides he does not want a shield to potentially throw the Aerial Ace back at the Pelipper, but has shield advantage, lost alignment, which is not super ideal, but Deoxys can kind of come in here and eat any of this Pelipper energy that is going to be chucked. The opponent then pivots into their Charger Bug. He's going to decide to shield up the super effective X Scissor that comes through, chucking the Psycho Boost, probably going to want to pivot into the Clodsire right after. That's exactly what he does, gets the opponent's last shield. Clodsire can sit here and eat any of this damage quite comfortably. All this resisted because of that ground and poison typing. Most likely gonna go ham on this Charger Bug, gonna overfarm probably to 100 energy, because as you can see, those X Scissors are doing literally nothing, basically healing the Clodsire. Getting off the first Sludge Bomb, bang. Will the Pelipper come back in? It does not. The opponent comes in with their last Pokemon being Como-O. Will Clod be able to chuck enough damage at the Como? Bang, lands the first Sludge Bomb. Mike, recognizing he's gonna need 2 charge moves here. Earthquake will not one-shot the Como. Gets all both Sludge Bombs, almost takes out, makes a fantastic swap slash pivot to catch the energy that the Como wants to throw, and ends up eating on the Deoxys, saving his shield. The Pelipper comes back in, top lefts. They know the match is over. Really solid play with Clod and that catch. Bang. Next match, Defenseoxys up against another Defenseoxys lead. We got the mirror match. Mike is going for a Thunderbolt here. This kind of comes down to who wins CMP, who's got the higher attack stat. Considering every defense Deoxys is literally raid IV, it could be anywhere with these stat products. Regardless, Mike's Deoxys is in the yellow first. Will he try and catch? That's exactly what he decides to do. This should just be another Thunderbolt on his ground flyer that barely does any damage. It gets an absolute goon to come out of the back. He is going to let this first charge move come through. Probably going to want to land a dig or maybe spam some aerial aces. Let's see what Mike decides. Builds up to 2 aerial aces, going for the first dig here. Wants to make sure that he can try to get shields or get some form of alignment. Ends up getting to the aerial ace before the opponent throws their next charge move. The opponent looks like they're trying to go for a counter down, but instead they said, screw that, we're just going to lose all of that because that Obstagoon had energy and now it's gone. But regardless, he did catch, which was great before, but the opponent's defense Deoxys gets some of that energy back because Mike ended up essentially winning that switch scenario. Either way though, he's going for double psycho boosts, gets the shield on the first one. The opponent decides to not shield the second one because it's debuffed. His defense Deoxys has done plenty. We want this 2 shield Clodsire going up against the opponent's last mon. Ends up being a Surf Edge, and this match is nothing but over. Gonna spam these sludge bombs out. Poison Sting is a pretty good charge move in the fact that it generates energy very well. Gonna be able to shield up against a Surf Edge. Clodsire would only take neutral damage from any of Surf Edge's charge moves because of that poison ground typing. Neutral to Leaf Blade, letting the next charge move come through. Ends up being that Leaf Blade. We get to see that does a lot less than I was expecting because usually Surf Edge is hitting quite hard and, you know, even neutral damage will threaten opponents, but Clodsire with that bulk, demonstrating it there, getting off another sludge bomb, bang, takes out the defense Deoxys, core breaks the last 2 mons, and ends up winning the final match of this collection. Let me know your thoughts on the battles. Mike, again, thank you so much for sending this early content. Get your Clodsires, get your Paldean Whoopers, and throw Aquatail on a Quagsire while you're out there. Let me know your thoughts on everything. I hope you're excited for this community day. How do you feel about the potential nerfs to Clod? Please in the comment section below. But on that note, thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next video. Preach!